Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to explore a really fascinating story coming from the IEDR Pablo Herrera School. It's a story that's completely changing what physical education can be.
So let's start with a question we've all probably asked ourselves at some point. Do screens and all this technology just inevitably make us lazy? Well, maybe it's time to rethink that idea, because this school is proving things can be very, very different.
So here's our game plan for today. We'll look at the screen time problem, then see how students went from just using tech to building with it. We'll check out their amazing creations and the results, and then we'll wrap up with the big lesson and a few key words from today.
Okay, let's dive right into section 1. We're going to start with a pretty common challenge.
Yeah, for a long time, the big worry has been that technology is the enemy of movement. But at this school, a group of students and teachers decided to challenge that idea. They knew there had to be a better way.
So what was their solution? Well, it wasn't just a new activity. It was a whole new way of thinking.
And right here, this is the key to the whole story. It's this fundamental shift from being passive users, just consuming stuff on screens, to becoming active creators, people who are actually building things with technology. This change in mindset, it was a total game changer.
So how did they do it? How did they put this big idea into action? Let's get into the project that brought it all to life.
They came up with something called the Technology and Movement Project. Just imagine a PE class where you're mixing coding with cardio. They brought together two worlds that seemed like complete opposites and made them work together.
And get this, look at what the students actually made. We're talking about kids from 6th, 8th, and 10th grades. They built Potobit to count steps, Halo Gym to guide workouts with lights and sounds, even things like UltraPi to measure height and BMI. They made Equilibria Tech for balance and Respiratech for lung capacity. It's incredible.
This means the physical education class completely transformed. It wasn't just a gym anymore. It was a real science lab, and the students were the scientists and inventors.
So, what happens when you turn students into inventors? Well, the results were pretty amazing.
First off, there was something really valuable happening. The project created more inclusion, because the prototypes could be adapted for each student's needs. And it also encouraged collaboration, because the students themselves were the ones helping their classmates figure out the devices.
And what's really smart is how everything was connected. In math class, they analyzed the data they collected. In technology, they learned to code. In English, they used bilingual videos and materials. And of course, in PE, it all came together to improve their health.
And the results speak for themselves. The students were way more motivated. They learned teamwork, problem solving, and even something called algorithmic thinking. And maybe most importantly, they started building healthy habits that will stick with them for life.
This phrase really sums it all up. They went from passive consumers to active creators. They stopped being just users and became the architects of their own tools for wellness.
So what's the big lesson we can all take away from this incredible story?
It really shows that when you use technology with a clear educational purpose, it becomes an incredibly powerful tool for both learning and for movement. Technology itself isn't the problem. It's all about how we use it.
And we'll close with this idea. Movement is science, movement is health, and movement is also programmable. It's an invitation to think about all the amazing possibilities that open up when we combine knowledge, well-being, and technology. Okay, before we go, let's just do a quick review of some of the key words we used in this explainer. All right, so sedentary just means sitting a lot, not being active. To build means to make or create something. A device is an electronic tool, kind of like a phone. A prototype is the first model of a new invention. To adapt means to change something for a new situation. And collaboration is simply working together with other people.
So this whole story leaves us with one final question to think about. How can we use technology to be more active in our own lives? It's definitely something to consider. Thanks so much for joining me today.